Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Elisa Weber.
And I'm Matt Pensick. It is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. You are watching NBC News special report about the Papal Conclave, and we're now going to continue our coverage with CoastTV News today, and we're going to bring in First Alert meteorologist Bob Trihey. I feel like we've been saying this every day this week.
I know,
but we're going to have to say it again.
Yes.
I mean, today really, Bob, it looks like another pleasant weather day.
It does, and we don't mind the broken record weather when the weather is nice, and that's exactly what we'll be seeing today. It's a cool start out the door, 51 in Salisbury, 52 in Dagsboro, lots of lower 50s, some middle 50s inland, and 60 at the beaches, Indian River Inlet at 60, 61 in Ocean City, 56 in Bethany Beach. So make sure you have the heavier jacket, nothing too heavy, as the winds are calm right now. Visibility is good, about 8 to 10 miles, but that said, we could be looking at some pockets of fog, so watch for drastic visibility drops, but we'll be seeing that fog burning off in the next couple of hours. As we are looking at partly cloudy skies, nothing in the way of rain across the region. We have these little disturbances coming through. In fact, a nice little clear patch farther back to the west of D.C., so a good-looking day with a mix of sun and clouds. Quickly warming up this morning. By noon, we're into the 70s away from the coast, 60s and 70s at the beaches, mid to upper 70s inland, maybe an isolated shower into the afternoon. Otherwise, pretty pleasant conditions into this evening. Drivecast, I gave it the yellow light for areas of fog this morning. Otherwise, some good travel weather. Then the green light for this afternoon and this evening for dry and mild conditions.
Thank you, Bob. And our top story this hour is the future of this plot of land in Milton. Development plan sparking a lot of mixed opinions at a Wednesday public hearing. It was a long one there.
Yes, and Cool Spring Crossing is located north of Route 9 and at Cool Springs Road. Some people are in favor, including Dr. Tam with BB Healthcare, saying this would bring more housing to medical staff, as well as a YMCA representative who says this would increase recreation.
You know, Lisa, we did also hear some emotional stories from people in neighboring communities opposing the development, and they have started petitions claiming they have hundreds of signatures.
Our community is really upset. When I was taking our petition around, several people told me they were thinking about leaving the area because of the overdevelopment. It's just it's not what people moved here for, right?
And it's one of the largest development proposals in years, with 637 acres of land. Now, no decision was made Wednesday. The Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission, they decided to keep the record open for 10 days.
And this comes as Sussex County considers several other major developments, including Belmead, a proposed mixed-use complex with apartments and retail space planned for 30 acres along Route 24 next to Beacon Middle School near Lewis, and North Star, a 400-acre subdivision west of Lewis near Route 9 and Beaver Dam Road.
This brings us to our CoastTV poll. We want to know, what's your biggest takeaway on the Cool Spring Crossing project?
And so far, a majority of the voters say more traffic, and then the next highest votes were less farmland, then more affordable housing, new assisted living, and educational facility. And we do have a comment from Mike in Lincoln. He says no more developments. We're too crowded as it is. No concern for wildlife, road congestion, and condition. And what about the crowded schools? Up goes property tax to pay for another new school building. And if you haven't voted yet, you can still do so on CoastTV.com or over on our mobile app. And happening this afternoon, more work on developing Worcester County's comprehensive plan. This is a focus on the water resources part during the Planning and Zoning Commission work session. The plan adopted in a previous decade addressed identifying water and other water resources for future development. A change from the last plan is the proposed wind farm off the coast, and that work session is scheduled for the Worcester County Government Center in Snow Hill.
In Milford, officials will consider a proposed mixed-use building. 111 North Walnut LLC will present plans for a vacant lot downtown. The group wants to put a building right here that would house 16 apartment units and commercial space. They are also asking to increase the allowed height of the building to 52 feet.
Paramedics at the Sussex County Department of Public Health will hold the first active shooter and stop the bleed training this evening. The training, which is free, is open to the public for anyone ages 16 and up. Sussex County EMS says it will be a combination of a presentation and learn hands-on skills. Some of those skills include how to do a tourniquet, which saves a life from an arterial bleed, and how to perform CPR.
The national standard from the time that somebody contacts 911 until somebody's knocking on their door is 8 minutes. That is not realistic for us to be there. While we strive to achieve that on every call, it's not realistic. So again, furthering the education of the public and how they can buy us time until we get there with our equipment.
The training will be held at the Sussex County Public Safety Complex in Georgetown from 6 to 9 p.m. And Sussex County EMS says they are hoping to do the trainings at least every month.
Gun violence prevention, that's the focus at Delaware State Capitol today. Anti-gun advocacy groups will speak with lawmakers about ways legislation would further prevent shooting incidents. According to the groups, this is in partnership with Moms Demand Action and the group Students Demand Action. And for more on this, you can head on over to CoastTV.com.
Have you checked your smoke detector recently? The Millville Volunteer Fire Company says now is the time. According to the agency, people should ensure these devices have working batteries. Each smoke detector will expire after 10 years, and the fire company says people should check them whenever the clocks change. And they say if your device starts beeping, it may need new batteries.
To stay in Millville, formalizing the makeup of this year's Planning and Zoning Commission. And according to town officials, tonight's meeting will determine the commission's chairperson and secretary. There's also a swearing in for 2 commission members, Tim Rowe and Pat Plosek. This takes place at 7 p.m.
Happening now, Bay Health is continuing with its supply chain partner, Premier Incorporated. According to Bay Health, it is a deal that led to $8 million in savings last year. Premier says it offers better prices on pharmaceuticals and medical supplies, along with making the most efficient use of Bay Health staff. Bay Health's deal with Premier goes through the year 2028.
New overnight, a win, at least for now, for libraries, museums, and minority-owned businesses. Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings, along with 20 other attorneys general, were successful in temporarily keeping federal funding for these places. A Barack Obama-appointed federal judge in Rhode Island temporarily blocked the Trump administration from making cuts that could have stopped money from going to those programs. The Trump administration claims it's cutting government funding for programs over issues of wasteful spending and corruption. Now getting a live look at Washington, D.C., and we are awaiting an announcement from President Trump related to the tariffs he imposed. This, as a new ambassador to China is sworn in, and the Treasury Secretary prepares for trade talks with that country this weekend.
NBC's Alice Barr shows us how the administration is under pressure to make progress with the economic superpower on tariffs, announcing what it calls a big trade deal.
You wouldn't have
President Trump teasing a major trade deal announcement today without revealing the country it's with. The New York Times, citing 3 sources familiar with the plans, reports it's the UK and that it's unclear whether it's a finalized deal or a framework. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent faced a Capitol Hill grilling over delivering on promised trade deals.
There are 18 important trading partners, and we are moving forward at all deliberate speed with those.
The secretary set to begin highly anticipated negotiations with China this weekend, as President Trump, while swearing in a new ambassador to China, signaled he's not backing down.
Are you open to pulling back your tariffs in order to get China to the negotiating table?
No.
And pushed back on the idea that the U.S. initiated the China trade talks.
They said we initiated. Well, I think they ought to go back and study their files.
The 145% tariff on Chinese goods has already forced some prices up for U.S. consumers. Now, the Federal Reserve says it's leaving interest rates unchanged, rather than the rate cut President Trump has been pressing for. The Fed chair citing economic uncertainty fueled by tariff policy.
If the large increases in tariffs that have been announced are sustained, they're likely to generate a rise in inflation, a slowdown in economic growth, and an increase in unemployment.
Chairman Powell noting it's unclear if those effects would be short-lived or long-lasting, arguing a resilient economy overall makes a wait-and-see approach to rates possible, as markets to Main Street wait for more solid footing. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up, Playground prepares for summer. We look at the project planned in Salisbury.
Also, Salisbury feels new breeze, how air travel is expanding in the city.
But first, from the water to the road. You got to check this out, folks. This is the story of one man who's getting creative with getting around town. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Here on the coast, you see a lot of cars, motorcycles on the roads, and you see a lot of boats, jet skis, kayaks, what have you on the water. But what happens when you combine a jet ski and a motorcycle? In this week's Coastal Connections, we introduce you to somebody who has done just that.
This is Justin Bonneville, and this is Landu. That's the name he has given his motorcycle jet ski hybrid.
My passion would definitely be, anything on two wheels.
Bonneville is a Sussex County native and has owned a motorcycle for more than 20 years. He says the idea of adding the outside of a jet ski to one of his bikes came from seeing them elsewhere.
I'd seen them done in Florida, and I thought, that looks pretty cool. You know what I mean? And finally I said, I'm going to try to duplicate it.
Having owned bikes for years, Bonneville says knowing how the parts work and go together made the whole process that much easier. He tells CoastTV while the cost was low, labor was high.
Stripped all the plastic off the scooter, slimmed it down. Any extra weight I could slim off of it, I did. And then, once I had that bare frame scooter, then I knew the dimensions of the hole I needed to cut in the bottom of this jet ski to be able to, set it on top.
And finding the jet ski to use worked out just fine.
I actually bought the jet ski out of a buddy of mine's backyard with a blown motor for $100.
He says the best memories for him come from others' curiosity. And he says he never gets tired of all the questions.
It's been very positive, from, young to old. Everybody's at first, they're like, what is that? And then it finally kind of dawns on them like, hold on, what's going on? So it's been cool.
Despite being half jet ski, it cannot go in the water. Bonneville has a pretty quirky response, though, when people ask him.
I always tell people, yeah, straight to the bottom.
Bonneville shares one thing that made all the long work worth it: reactions from the young ones.
I was that kid. Who didn't, when they seen a biker going down the road, one of them to rev the bike? I mean, that's typical kid stuff, you know what I mean?
And if you're lucky, you could end up seeing him on the road. Bonneville says you can catch him riding along the coast with his beloved Landu all summer. For this week's Coastal Connections in Sussex County, Brendan Conroy, CoastTV News.
Time is 6:17. We're getting a live look now at Salisbury. Early daylight scene there. And Bob, I've been a big fan of your forecasts of late, and I don't think you're going to disappoint me right now.
Matt, I would hate to disappoint you, and it does not look like I will with today's weather, so that's good. We're looking at partly cloudy skies today, looking like pleasant conditions that will be mild with mid to upper 70s inland, 60s at the beaches, some lower 70s at the coast. Then our weather does go south a little bit on Friday, but that's okay. We need the rain. Showers on Friday, maybe some embedded thunderstorms too, and it will be a little cooler. Rain chances next 7 days. You can see the spike here as we go into later tonight into Friday, where we are looking at widespread rain. Some of that could be heavy with some thunderstorms too, not expecting anything severe. And then that rain tapers off as we go into Friday night, and looking good for the weekend. Look at that. We just have little rain chances. In fact, I don't think we're looking at any Saturday and Sunday, so looking good Saturday and Sunday for Mother's Day. And then another uptick in rain chances later Monday into Tuesday and lasting into Wednesday as well. No rain this morning, but we could be looking at some areas of fog, so watch for that. Otherwise, 51 in Salisbury, 52 Willards, Dagsboro, 53 in Millsboro, a little milder at the beaches, 60 Ocean City, Indian River Inlet, and 58 in Lewis. As the winds are calm right now, we're looking at some clouds. We're seeing some blue skies too, and we're looking at areas of fog. So it's very patchy, very sporadic. So your visibility could drop in a hurry. So watch for that. Otherwise, we're looking at dry conditions, just a lot of clouds all across the region from the Carolinas up to the northeast. As we have a little system swinging through now. There is a cold front to the north and west that will come through a little bit later today, and then we'll actually see an area of low pressure that is to our west, kind of cut off from the main jet stream, giving us a better chance of rain tomorrow. But right now, kind of showery across the Tennessee Valley, and we see low pressure spinning up into the upper Midwest, and eventually that will move to the northeast, and we're going to be seeing that inclement weather for tomorrow. This morning, we're in the clouds, not expecting any rain, but we do have that patchy patchy fog should be gone by 8 or 9 a.m. Otherwise, warming through the 60s into the 70s by noon. 76 Salisbury, Milford 74, Millsboro 74, Fenwick Island 62. A little cooler at the beaches. I think you'll be in the 60s to low 70s here in the afternoon, but then mid to upper 70s inland, maybe flirting with 80 degrees around Salisbury. And this evening, looking pretty good for your outdoor activities. Overnight, mostly clear early on. Then I think clouds increasing into Friday morning with temperatures in the 50s. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. And anywhere you see orange and red, that could be some heavier rain with some of the thunderstorms that are coming through. A little break in the afternoon. I think we get up into the 70s with another round of showers and storms possible into Friday evening. If you're out and about, watch for heavy rain and vivid lightning as we go into Friday evening. Lingering showers until the late evening, and then we start to dry it out. It gets pretty chilly as we go into Saturday morning and windy as well. Expecting non-severe storms for tomorrow, but heavy rain is certainly a possibility with maybe up to about a half an inch of rain possible, maybe a little bit more as we dry out Saturday. And then for Sunday, Mother's Day, maybe a few clouds, but I think we're looking good as far as maybe taking mom out to brunch on Sunday. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 78 today, then the rain chances Friday, 71. Dry and cooler Saturday, 73. Mother's Day, 78 degrees, and then mild into next week. Another rain chance on Wednesday.
Thank you, Bob. In Maryland, be on alert if you receive any messages claiming you owe money for unpaid tolls. For the past couple of months, the Transportation Authority has reported phishing scams going around, tricking people into paying fake toll debt. Officials say that the state will never ask for payments through text, and if you do receive one, the Transportation Authority says to report those texts to the FBI.
Non-stop flights from Salisbury to Orlando just months away. Breeze Airways will begin service in October. Flights will be available twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. One-way fares will start as low as $59. That could go up to around $115, and that's just going to depend on how many bags and carry-ons you have. Local officials say this is a significant moment, not just for Wicomico County, but all of Delmarva.
This is going to open up a whole bounty of opportunities for new business growth, and it's going to certainly help existing businesses, our hospitality industry, restaurants. So, more to come, but I think this is a big deal.
Could potentially be.
Airport staff say a grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation helped make this possible. It provided $800,000 to attract and get a new airline up and running there at the Salisbury Airport.
Up next on CoastTV News Today, Playground prepares for summer. We'll show you what to expect from upgrades at Doverdale Park in Salisbury. Don't go anywhere. New upgrades are underway at Doverdale Park in Salisbury. The city says new playground equipment is currently being installed, and you can see some of that work on your screen right now. The project is set to be done in 2 weeks.
Children across Delaware will have the chance to compete for trophies and learn about conservation during the 39th annual Youth Fishing Tournament. It is hosted by Delaware Natural Resources Police. This event is open to children ages 4 to 15 at public ponds in each county. Registration is required for this June 7th event.
If you are doing some spring cleaning and find books you are looking to donate, listen up. The Bethany Fenwick Area Chamber of Commerce will be accepting gently used book donations until June 6th. Those books will be sold at the upcoming book sale benefiting the Selbyville Public Library, and donations can be dropped off at the chamber office. And Matt, I think we're going to have another good day to be outside after work, get some fresh air.
Yeah, May is a wonderful month, isn't it?
May is and why is May a wonderful month?
Well, it kind of leads into summer. There's a lot of great.
Do you have a birthday?
I may have.
Yes.
I may have a birthday in May, Bob. You see what I did there?
May have a birthday in May. Yeah, I know you have a birthday. But yeah, beautiful weather out there. We're looking at partly cloudy skies for today. A little cooler at the beaches, near 70 in Chincoteague later on with a mix of sun and clouds. More sun later this evening. And then we're looking at mid-60s in Assateague. So a little cooler here, waves around 1 to 2 feet, and the wind's pretty light. Upper 60s in Ocean City, partly cloudy skies, and then lower 70s in Fenwick Island. UV index is high. Next 3 days on the Bayside, upper 70s in Cambridge today, rain, some storms Friday, and then drying out Saturday. And similar conditions in Crisfield, a little cooler for you. You can see the lightning strokes there, so definitely some thunderstorms tomorrow. Not thinking severe, but a better weekend and looking good for Mama on Mother's Day. More in your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, supply chain success. We'll tell you the details of a continued deal at Bay Health.
Also, active shooter safety, how you can learn to protect yourself and others before help arrives.
In Cool Spring, mixed opinions. We'll tell you why some locals are expressing support and others are taking action against the proposed project. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
A dry and mild Thursday for Delmarva, then a better chance of showers heading into Friday, with improving conditions for the weekend. Looking good for Mother's Day. I'll have your full forecast coming up next.
Community clash, where a massive development project in Milton stands after a lengthy public hearing.
Conclave continues. More votes expected today as Catholic cardinals work to find the 267th Pope.
Supply chain savings, why Bay Health says it is getting that from a deal with its data-driven partner.
This is Coast TV News Today.
May 8th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Time is 6:29. It's a Rock the Red Thursday. Capitals looking to even their playoff series with the Hurricanes. I see you are flying the colors today.
Yeah, this was intentional.
It was.
It was.
Okay, good
yes.
to know.
That and I went to Rutgers.
You did.
Yes.
And they're the Scarlet Knights, folks.
We were red. Never Navy. Never. I'm just kidding. Well, we're now going to bring
I'm just waiting for Bob here.
We're now going to bring in first alert meteorologist Bob Trahey to talk about a topic we both agree on. The weather has been phenomenal this week.
Great, Bob. It really has.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you guys are talking, well, we could talk about the weather, but we could also talk about colors. I'm kind of rocking the blue and orange a little bit for my Knicks last night and my Mets yesterday, so feeling good about those colors right now. We are looking at pretty nice temperatures weather-wise, lower 50s inland, 60 Indian River Inlet, Ocean City 60, 52 in Gumboro, 53 in Georgetown. The winds are calm and the visibility about 8 to 10 miles, but there are some isolated areas of fog, so make sure you use the low beam headlights. We will be looking at that fog burning off the next couple of hours. Otherwise, we're looking at partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Nothing in the way of rain, just a lot of clouds from the northeast down into the mid-Atlantic region. We have a little disturbance sliding through another front to the west. So we'll be looking at those sun and clouds throughout the day. Here's Futurecast this morning. A few more clouds this morning and then warming up into the mid to upper 60s mid-morning. And then by noon, we're into the 70s inland areas, 60s at the beaches. We'll be a little cooler there. Don't know about 61 in Dewey Beach. I think you're a little warmer, but 60s to maybe around 74 in Lewis. Upper 70s, some places, inland areas, maybe a stray afternoon shower. Otherwise, looking pretty pleasant into the evening hours. Watch out for the school buses this morning when that stop sign pops out. Might be tough to see with some of that fog this morning, which burns off next couple of hours off the school 56 for the kids, and then a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. Dry and mild and 78.
Our top story this half hour, divided over development, the future for this plot of land, sparking a lot of mixed opinions at a public hearing on Wednesday. Cool Spring Crossing is located north of Route 9 and off of Cool Spring Road. There have been pretty strong opinions both for and against this project. It's one of the largest development proposals in years with 637 acres of land. No decision was made Wednesday. The Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission decided to keep the record open for 10 days.
Tonight in Georgetown, paramedics from the Sussex County Department of Public Safety will hold their first active shooter and Stop the Bleed training. Sussex County EMS says it's a combination of a presentation and learn hands-on skills. And some of these skills include how to do a tourniquet. It saves the lives of a life. It could do that from an arterial bleed, and also they'll learn how to perform CPR. The training will be held at the Sussex County Public Safety Complex from 6 to 9 p.m.
Happening now, Bay Health is continuing its supply chain partner, Premier Incorporated. According to Bay Health, it's a deal that led to $8 million in savings last year. Premier says it offers better prices on pharmaceuticals and medical supplies, along with making the most efficient use of Bay Health staff. Bay Health's deal with Premier goes through the year 2028.
And this afternoon, more work on developing Worcester County's comprehensive plan. There's a focus on the water resources part of it. It'll take place during the Planning and Zoning Commission work session. The plan adopted in the previous decade addressed identifying water and other resources for future development. A change from that last plan is the proposed wind farm off the coast. That work session is scheduled for the Worcester County Government Office in Snow Hill.
In Milford, officials will consider a proposed mixed-use building. You can see that location right here on your screen. 111 North Walnut LLC will present plans for a vacant lot downtown. The group wants to put a building here that would house 16 apartment units and commercial space. They are also asking to increase the allowed height of that building to 52 feet tall.
Now getting a live look at Vatican City in Italy. There is the chimney. We saw smoke coming from that about a half hour ago during NBC's special news report. It is day 2 of the papal conclave as no pope was chosen on Wednesday. And we do not know who the pope will be. We do not know when it will happen. We do know a little bit about the conclave and how that plays out. Each day it starts with a mass, and then the cardinals file into the Sistine Chapel. The doors closed and are locked. Voting twice during a morning session, and if no candidate receives a 2/3 majority, there is a midday break, and when they return, 2 more votes occur. Still no decision. The cardinals then go back to their Vatican dorm.
Have dinner, and they can stay up as long as they want. There's no curfew of that kind. With meetings, talking to each other, and then on the next day, they start the routine all over again.
The world awaits white smoke coming from here, signaling a new leader has been chosen. A candidate needs, again, 2/3 majority to be confirmed.
U.S. measles cases are at another grim milestone, now surpassing 1,000 cases. Almost all are in people who have not received the vaccine.
As Amy Kiley shows us, officials say this could end up being the highest annual case count since the U.S. declared measles eliminated.
Get a measles vaccine.
New analysis shows the number of measles cases reported in the U.S. this year just surpassed 1,000. That's based on data from the CDC and state health departments. Many of the cases are related to an outbreak in West Texas, but most states have reported the disease.
The problem is when vaccination rates fall below 95% for measles or under 90% in public schools, you see big outbreaks.
This is likely to be the worst year for measles in the U.S. since its declared elimination in 2000. The only other that's close is 2019, when outbreaks around New York City pushed the total to 1,274 cases. This year's count is 1,002 as of yesterday, and it's only May.
If you're immune compromised or you haven't been vaccinated, you should probably think twice about going to areas where there's a lot of measles circulating.
Many experts think the actual number of cases is probably higher. They say early symptoms can resemble other illnesses, and most modern doctors haven't seen measles firsthand.
We were able to eradicate measles, and now they're back.
The CDC says 3 people have died of measles in the U.S. this year. The agency says before the MMR vaccine, the U.S. saw hundreds of measles deaths annually.
This virus can cause you to be hospitalized and die.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Still have more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, summer traffic system returns. We'll tell you the plans underway at Kent Island.
Also, a Henlopen Conference battle in girls lacrosse, the big offensive effort that led Sussex Academy to a win.
And expansion plans end despite the decision made by lawmakers. We'll tell you what new additions you can expect at Legislative Hall in Dover. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
It is exactly 6:39 on this Thursday morning, seeing a sun-splashed FH for a Cam in Cambridge. Looking good right now, 55, but lots of clouds. So we'll be in and out of those clouds as we go through the day. We're looking at temperatures inland areas, low to mid 50s with upper 50s, close to 60 at the beaches right now. Visibility about 8 to 10 miles, but there are areas of patchy fog. So watch for that for the next hour or two. Otherwise, a mix of sun and clouds for today and continue dry as we go into the afternoon. Today's checklist: don't need the rain gear, but use the low beams in the fog. Drive with caution out there in the limited visibility. You'll need the sunscreen and the sunglasses as we go throughout the day. And congratulations to Kevin Dagg from Lewis. He is the proud owner of a new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
Plans to expand Delaware's Legislative Hall in Dover are now officially off the table. Lawmakers voted to suspend the multi-million-dollar project because of a tightening state budget and also federal funding cuts. The plan included new hearing rooms, office space, and also a tunnel to a new parking garage. As of now, that parking garage plan is still on.
Paving in Fenwick Island, originally set to start May 5th, will now begin today. Town officials say the pushback is to ensure the roads are dry before starting. Streets scheduled for paving include South Schultz Road, McWilliam Street, Wright Street, and Bay Street.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, sports fans. We've got a Henlopen North and South battle. It's girls lacrosse action in Smyrna, Delaware. Both teams looking to shore tonight. Is the Sussex Academy Seahawks taking on the Smyrna Eagles. We'll start things off. Emily Bisaha of Sussex Academy giving it to Elizabeth Layton, who's able to get it to go, making the score 1-0 in the first. Moving on, Ava Pierce of Smyrna would have the answer on the free position shot. It's 3-1 though, Sussex Academy. Moving on, June Hale continues the scoring for the Seahawks. She would find Twine. It's 7-1 in the first quarter. Now in the second, Lily Bisaha getting past everybody. It's 10-1. Hale would continue the action, passing the rock to Bisaha, who slings in another goal for Sussex Academy, making the score 11-1 in the second. Then Emily Bisaha passes the ball to Riley Mobila, who finds the back of the net, making the score 14-1 in the second quarter. Sussex Academy would come out on top in this game, 19-4. That'll for sports. Have a great day, everybody.
And coming up on DSN 415, the Cape softball team travels to Polytech. At 7:30, we have another episode of Into the Trenches. 10:30, the final score on the DSN Plus app. In addition to that Cape softball game, you get these exclusives. 4:15, more softball. That's when Sussex Academy hosts Delmar. Lake Forest travels to Laurel in baseball. Those same schools, they also meet in softball. And at 5:30, it's girls soccer, Indian River taking on Polytech.
Movie news now. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
You'll never find another like me. I'm the last of my kind.
Warning. Okay, just keep walking. That's right. Just keep walking. Yeah, that's it, kid. That's it. Second warning. Third warning.
The Long Walk, the first novel Stephen King ever wrote, finally reaches the big screen. The title track is a contest. Keep walking until only one person is left. Cooper Hoffman and Mark Hamill star in the dystopian thriller from Hunger Games director Francis Lawrence, which marches into theaters September 12th.
The 1961 Ferrari 250 GT California.
The Ferrari from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is toast, spoiler alert, but the film's stars may be taking another road trip. Deadline reports Matthew Broderick and Alan Ruck are in talks to reunite for the comedy The Best Is Yet to Come, about friends who head off to save one of their sons and knock a few items off their bucket lists in the process. It'd be the first time the real-life friends have starred together since Ferris Bueller nearly 40 years ago. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from CoastTV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's what you can expect later today on Coast Life at 4.
We're getting closer and closer to the weekend, but first we hope you join us today at 4 for some Coast Life, because we're going to be chatting with the Delaware Breast Cancer Coalition about their annual breast cancer update.
And in our Spill the Tea this week, you might give a little side eye to your coworker, Leah's looking at me right now, about do you actually want to spend time with these people outside of work?
Interesting tea to spill. And of course, we're going to be talking some conservation efforts with another annual Bay Day. All that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
We're seeing some smooth water on the gutter helmet cam this morning. Calm winds, some clouds, a little bit of fog out there, so watch for that. Otherwise, a dry and mild Thursday on the way. Showers return Friday with improving conditions this weekend. Looking good for Mom on Mother's Day. I'll have your full forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
time is now 6:47, and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. And Bob, we see the sun starting to shine through there, almost a little too bright for that camera there. But that is a good sight to see, and the weather this week has been pleasant, so let's keep it up for Thursday.
Absolutely, Elisa. Yeah, beautiful shot there. But you can see at the surface there's a little bit of fog, so there are pockets of fog out there, but that'll burn off quickly this morning. Otherwise, we're looking at another mild day, pleasant, with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s away from the coast, 60s and low 70s at the beaches. And then on Friday, our weather does take a downturn with showers, some thunderstorms too, and cooler. It's good to see the rain, and we'll be seeing that on Friday. In fact, our chances go up very late tonight into the scattered range and then widespread on Friday with the rain, some thunderstorms, still a little rainy and stormy into Friday evening. Then we dry it out for the weekend and looking good for Mom on Mother's Day. Then another uptick in rain chances later Monday and then continuing into Wednesday. Out the door this morning, low to mid 50s inland areas, down to 50 in Harrington, a little cool for you. 52 in Dagsboro, Millsboro 53, 60 in Ocean City, 59 at Indian River Inlet. Winds are calm, but we are watching some areas of fog once again this morning. Otherwise, seeing some peaks of blue too. We just saw the sunrise and some clouds as well. So we have a little trough swinging through, kicking off the clouds. Another cold front back to the west. That'll swing through later today, and then we'll see an area of low pressure to the west actually cut off and, well, create messy weather across the East Coast as we go into your Friday. But this morning, the fog burns off to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures warming through the 60s, and then by noon into the mid 70s, around 76 Salisbury, but temperatures in the 60s to low 70s at the beaches by 3:30. This says 61 in Dewey Beach. I think you're a few more degrees warmer than that, 68 in Rehoboth, but inland, Georgetown 78, Delmarva 77, and maybe a stray shower or a sprinkle, not a big deal. Otherwise, we're clearing things out as we go into the evening hours. Temperatures falling from the 60s into the 50s. Then clouds increase tomorrow morning, and I think we start to see showers breaking out around 6 a.m. and then stronger rain and then heavier rain. Look at this, some orange and red showing up near Salisbury and Berlin. I think we'll see some thunderstorms too as we go through the morning hours, maybe heavy rain, vivid lightning too, and then that moves offshore. We could get a little break in the afternoon, and that will allow the atmosphere to recover with temperatures in the 70s, and then we could see another round of rain and storms as we go into Friday evening. Could be a little messy, not expecting severe weather. Then that activity starts to move offshore, and it gets breezy and colder into Saturday morning. Non-severe thunderstorms across Delmarva on Friday, but definitely some heavy rain, vivid lightning, and maybe up to about a half an inch of rain, maybe more with some of those heavier storms. And then the system lifts out Saturday, looking good there. And then for Mom on Mother's Day, I think we see clouds in the morning and then increasing sunshine and looking dry into Monday. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 78 today. Then the showers Friday, some thunderstorms too. 71, windy and cooler on Saturday, mostly sunny. 73, 78 for Mother's Day, partly cloudy skies, and then dry and mild into early next week. It looks like another rain chance comes in later Tuesday, especially into Wednesday, with a high of 77.
A plan aimed at alleviating traffic congestion in one part of Queen Anne's County will return this summer. The ramp management program that began last summer keeps westbound bay drivers on Route 50 instead of taking exits as shortcuts. If they do, they're redirected back to Castle Marina Road. A study from last summer found weekend travel time decreased from 52 minutes in 2023 to 43 minutes in 2024. But some locals still have mixed opinions on how well it really worked.
I think it went very well. I noticed a significant decrease in the traffic around here. There was still a lot of buildup, people coming on from exits before they got closed, but it was significantly better.
But double back and getting into traffic and waiting to go, I just think it's terrible for people that live here.
And this program will begin May 18th and continue until Labor Day. It will be from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday through Sunday and on holidays. And the time is now 6:51, so we're going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Yeah, Lisa, I love this picture because our coastal pet of the day living their best life in their new home. On your screen, that's a very happy and loved pet named Piper. Piper is already best friends with her new playmate Bailey, and Piper was submitted to us by Terry and Doug in Georgetown.
We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
If you do that, if you take a look at your screen, you got that QR code, front, center, upper part. Scan that, get your friends to us, and then you can watch your favorite pets weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:54 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Paramedics of Sussex County Department of Public Safety will hold the first active shooter and stop the bleed training this evening. The training, which is free, is open to the public for anyone 16 and up. Sussex County EMS says it will be a combination of a presentation and hands-on skills. Some of those skills include how to do a tourniquet and how to perform CPR.
Non-stop flights from Salisbury to Orlando just months away. Breeze Airways will begin service in October. Flights will be available twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. One-way fares could start as low as $59. They could go up to about $115 depending on how many checked bags and carry-ons you have.
If you are doing some spring cleaning and find books you are looking to donate, listen up. The Bethany-Fenwick Area Chamber of Commerce will be accepting gently used books donations until June 6th. Those books will be sold in an upcoming book sale benefiting the Selbyville Public Library. Donations can be dropped off at the Chamber office.
Happening this afternoon, more work on developing Worcester County's comprehensive plan. There's a focus on the water resources part. It'll be during the Planning and Zoning Commission work session. The plan adopted in the previous decade addressed identifying water and other water resources for future development. A change from the last plan is the proposed wind farm off the coast. The work session is scheduled for the Worcester County Government Center in Snow Hill.
And the time is now 6:55, so we're going to take a look at your forecast.
You know, I feel like it's been cliche. I feel like we've been saying this at this time every morning, Elisa and Bob, but well, just a great day today. I was able to do some lawn work yesterday. I know you tracked that thing, Bob.
Oh, you love to do lawn work.
Did you see that? Did you see that, Bob?
Is there video evidence?
Bob's on my side.
All you can do is measure where the grass was on Tuesday to where it is now. So there's physical evidence.
He's getting flustered.
You stop it.
I will be out there this afternoon cutting the grass and weed whipping and the whole thing.
You got to get that mow forecast going.
The mow, yes, I do have that. I do have to break that out too, for sure. But our weather is looking fantastic for cutting the grass, going to the beach. Matt, I know you want to work on your beach bod. Looking good for that. Calm winds or light winds as we go into the afternoon hours. Here's your day part forecast. We're looking at a little bit of fog this morning, so watch for that. And then that will burn off to lots of sunshine, or at least a mix of sun and clouds. And notice this, the light winds. We like to see that. And temperatures into the upper 70s away from the coast this afternoon. Maybe a stray shower, 60s and low 70s at the beaches. Here's your Paul Davis 10-day forecast. The nice stretch of weather coming to an end on Friday with showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder too, with a high of 71. Not expecting severe weather, but definitely some robust storms are possible. And then cooling down and breezy into the weekend. Saturday, 73. Looking good for Mother's Day, 78 with a mix of sun and clouds. We keep it dry Monday and Tuesday with mid-70s. Looks like another rain chance builds in Wednesday into Thursday. We go from the upper 70s Wednesday into the lower 80s Thursday, up to 86 by next Friday as we're back into the summer warmth at that time.
TV News today.
I feel like I got to play the How Dare You card. No. The Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
And then we'll be back for Coast TV News midday at 11.
And until then, have a great Thursday morning, everybody.